Hello, these games are suitable for ages 4 to 7 or higher. The activity is in the description, which means that you can download that. It's a home learning guide. So that's going to guide you on how to facilitate this activity. So while you download the home learning guide, I'm going to share this live on as a watch party. So if I get it right this time. I have lots of fun with my sharing my watch parties and things, and I'll also set it going on here, which means that I've kind of rediscovered, because I knew it and then I think I forgot it, that I can watch the live on there and see comments as they come. It's all very interesting for me. Right, so that is not where I want it. I want it in there. So it's going to go on my timeline so more people will get to see it, as well as in the group. Brilliant. So this activity, as I say, is for early years. We're going to go straight into it, and I'm going to share my visualizer. I love my visual. I can't actually, well, anyway, I've got a visualizer. It's a thing that it's like the opposite of a projector, really. Well, it's a projector without the projector part. So share, and boom, you can now see my projector. So what I've got is this is just out of card, and if you can't find card you can get nice thick card that you can cut up. The idea being that if you write it on both sides, it's nice and rigid. These aren't perfect rectangles, they're just cut up quite roughly, but they look nice. And I've got the digits very clearly written on one side and the number of dots on the other so they can count. So my grandson, who's 5, he likes to do both. He can now add 2 digits together, but he also likes to reinforce with the dots, and that is very healthy because we're making sure that he's got the number sense. We're making sure that he understands the 6-ness of 6 or the 5-ness of 5. Now, just going from first principles, the first activity you can do with this is sort. That's what Leo wants to do straight off. He gets these cards, he just wants to sort them. You can sort them using the digits, and also he likes to sort them using the digits. He also likes to sort them using the dots. He loves the 0. Loves it. He's like, this one's blank, Grandma. What number is it? Then it's 0, and he turns it over and he's so happy every time he works out that blank with no dots means 0. So we can sort them all the way to 9, where we only need 0 to 9, and he was puzzling about that. So, well, why, where's 10? Why don't we have 10? I'm like, well, what digits make the number 10? 1 and 0. Okay, can we make the number 10 using these digits? And the answer is yes, we can make lots of numbers. That might be another completely different exercise you can do with these, is find out all the different numbers you can make with, we can include that one with 10 digits. But for this game, we're not using the 0. For this game, we're only using the numbers 1 to 9. So if you're starting with a very young learner, start with the dots, and you can just take two random from a bowl, take 2 random numbers and sort them, put them in the right order. So which one is the smallest number and which one is the biggest number, so they can count the dots, and which one has less numbers and which one less dots and which one has more dots, and then see if they can tell us what the number is just by counting. And we can also reinforce by looking at the digits. And that's just starting up, warming up, and then you can work on 2 numbers. Now let's see how many different ways we can make the number 10. So you can get the dots, count them up. So if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, how many do we need with 1 more card to make the number 10, so they can work it out on their hands, or they can just keep counting the dots until they find one that makes 10. So with 4 and 6, you make 10 and find out how many other different ways. If we start with a 9, how many more do we need to make 10? If we start with a 7, or if we start with a 3, find all the different ways to make 10. That's the next level up. And you can do that with number bonds to all different numbers that are possible with these cards. The challenge that we've got for you, the specific challenge that's in the activity pack, that's in the description for you to download is, and let me get it right because I can sometimes get a bit over enthusiastic and vary the actual activity. Here we go. So you can start off playing this with dots and then graduate to the digits, where you can reinforce the dots by looking at the digits afterwards. So what we're going to do is we want to find, using 3 different numbers. Well, no, actually, before we get there, I found that challenge was a little bit too much for my 5-year-old grandson. So what we did, so I'm not going to tell you that yet, that'll be the next step. So this next step is make the number 50, make a total of 15 by using cards. So he ended up doing something like 1, 5, 4, 2. He was counting the dots each time, and 3. He ended up using a lot of cards. Have I got that right? Yes. So that makes, let me double check that you can see what I think you can see. Okay, let me see the visualizer. Oh yes, there it is. Okay, so, and Grandma did it as well, and Grandma managed to, I can't remember if Grandma managed to make 15. I think Grandma did. Oh yes, you could. Is it still possible with the cards that are remaining? Is it possible to make another 15? And then, because he went over some of the times, and that's, oh look, we've got 2 number 9s. We only need 1 of those. So that would be another realization, and that's fine. So, oh, have we got the numbers? Well, if you realize it, then ask the questions to see if we got something wrong here, because we're only supposed to have 1 of each digit. So let them work out that actually we only need 1 number 9. And finding that you've got duplicates of something or something missing, that's another game. You can take 1 number out and go, which number's missing? That's another game you can play. That's not this game, this is the 15 game. So how many can you make 15 from the remaining ones? And then the next level up is using 3 cards, and only 3 cards make the number 15. Now it can be done as alternating, like Grandma does 1, Leo does 1, Grandma does 1, Leo does 1, or you can just both do the challenge on your own. Let's see how we can make 15 with 3 cards. Just that would be the first challenge. How can we make 15 with 3 cards? So you could start with, say, oh, that's the biggest number. We're going to go with a big one because it's 15, and then we might say, oh, okay, well, there you go, we've got 15. But oh, actually, no, we need 3 cards. You must have 3 cards. Oh, okay, well, we can add, there's another card. Okay, now what's our total? Is our total now 15 with 3 cards? No, it's not. What do we need? What is the total, which is 16? How are we going to bring it down? Okay, I'm not actually presenting this for the young children, I'm presenting this for the grown-ups, helping with it, because I think this is a really valuable game, and I'm going to do it for the children in just a moment. And this is the game we're going to play. This one here, going to 15. So now that you've got the idea, we're going to play it. You ready? I hope you've got some cards. If not, you can just draw dots. You ready to draw dots? Okay, now let me see if we've got someone. Got any comments? I don't see any comments yet. I'm going to see if Annabelle's watching, but I don't see if she is or not. because if you're watching, Annabelle, then no. Russell, hi. Chris, all hi. Emilio, hi. John Frosty Cooper, hello. Brilliant. And I don't know who's watching on here because I can't see, and there aren't any comments, at least not that I can see. So I'm going to assume Annabelle's watching. So Annabelle, we're going to do this together. We've got to use 3 cards to make a total of 15. I'm going to bring these down a bit so you can see them all. That's 3 cards. So if Caroline starts with a 3, what other number can she put in there? Remember that we've only got 1, and this is the big thing. We've only got 1 of each digit. So what if we did 3, and what number is this? You can look at it and count the dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You see the number there. And 7, 8, 9, 10. What number is that? Okay, what number do we now have to add to get to 15? Because we only can have 3 cards. We can't have less, we can't have more. We must have 3 cards. So what number do we need? Will 4 do it? So we've got 10, 11, 12, 13, no, 14. That's not 15, is it? So 4 isn't going to work. What about more than 4? What about 6? Will 6 do it? We've got 10, count the dots, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's too much. 4 wasn't enough. And 6 was too much. So what number do we need? Number, yes, number, oh, look, in the middle, will that do it? So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that's 3 plus 7 is 10. You can work it out with your fingers, take your time, you can count the dots. And then 5 more is 15. You can double check by counting the dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now, the next question is how many different ways? Now, this doesn't have to be done today, but you might want to create a poster. So we can create a poster. I'm going to move this over to one side. Create a poster. I don't know how many they're going to be. We're going to make a few sections here on this poster, and we've got all summer, or you've got as many weeks as you. There is no time limit. Just do it as you like it, as and when you another number occurs to you, then go back, have this poster on the wall. Would be the really good place for it. A place where you eat would be amazing if you can do that. And then, so we've already had, what did we have? Do you remember? We had 3 plus 7 plus 5 equals 15. And we had the dots, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then using the cards, how many different ways can you work out? You don't have to do it quickly. Do it one a day. Just what can we find a different one? And then if you find one, like in a week's time, you've got to double check that you haven't already found it, because if you're only like me, you won't remember. So you've got to double check you haven't already found it, because there's got to be one different answer in each box. You might need 2 sheets of paper, you might need more, or you might not need the whole sheet of paper. See how many different sets of numbers there are. Now this is for slightly older, this is 6, 7, 8-year-olds, depending on the child. Some children will like it and some won't like it so much, and that's fine. You just can work on making your own version of the game. You might only want to use 2 numbers instead of 3. Or you might want to go to 10 instead of 15, or 8, or 5 even. If you've got 5, would you need the number 7? Oh, you could actually use the number 0 as well. We could play a different game where you do use the number 0 and find out what if you add 0 to something, what happens to the number? 4 plus 0, you can count the dots. How many numbers is 4 plus 0? So you can play lots of different ways. And that's our activity for today. If you like these lives, please do share them, and also tell people about the group if you think it would be helpful to other people. Making Maths Fun for Kids of all ages. The link to the activity is in the description that's attached to the live, and if you need the URL of the group, it's at the top of the page anyway, at the top, you know, in your Google thing, but it's also in the pinned post at the top of the group. And if you are on YouTube, you'd like to see our YouTube videos, please do subscribe to our YouTube channels, which is there's Maths Toys YouTube channel, which has an activity. Every activity on there is connected with an Aiming High every video on there is connected to an Aiming High activity. And then there's also the Bubbly Maths YouTube channel. Again, links to those are in the pinned post at the top of the group. And those, in that you get these lives, plus you get lots of balloons and soap bubbles, doing maths using balloons, soap bubbles, and other activities. I started to upload some videos about mindset, about removing or relieving maths anxiety, those sorts of things, and how best to learn maths. Now let's have a look, see if anybody did come up. Oh, Salvo's watching. Susan was watching. We'll have to see what Annabelle thought about that. That'd be brilliant. But I don't see any comments. So if you have commented, I'm sorry, it's not coming up. It might come up afterwards. And then let's see who was on here. So we had Russell, Chris, which said hello, Emilio, John Frosty Cooper, and Salvo came on. So he's on both. Salvo was on both. So fantastic. It's always lovely to see Salvo. He's an amazing supporter, as in he comes on and he always says hello. It's so lovely to see him. All right, that's it for today. Oh, that was me, the talking head, the itty bitty talking head, because I forgot to stop the share. Thank you very much for joining me. Now tonight we'll share the activity we're doing tomorrow. Tomorrow is all about jigsaw puzzles, and these activities all come from Tony and AIMSEC. These are not activities I write myself. So the whatever the heads up I've had, is that we must print this activity. It's not something you can hand draw because it's based on jigsaw puzzles. So it's going to be print out, cut out. So I've got to find a way of getting this activity printed out throughout the course of today myself. There's always a solution. Perseverance and determination provides a solution. Thank you very much and see you later. That's 8 o'clock tonight, and then 9 o'clock, that's London time. 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, we'll be doing the live for 7 to 18-year-olds, and at 10 o'clock, the early years for 4 to 7-year-olds. Thank you for joining. See you later.